Hi everyone. Yeah, let's start. I hope everybody's doing okay. Yeah, today Sunday in Russia. We're still under the quarantine. Still under the self-isolation, whatever you call it. Yeah, I'm still in Moscow, still here. So let me know how's everybody's doing. How's everybody's pandemic is going. Also, let me know. Do you have any, like issues? Do you have any job loss or stuff like that? You know, obviously the plans changed and everything, but do you have any kind of, fallback, or are you okay? Still working? Doing a project which is from another year or something like that. But yeah, let me know. I want to know. I love your video. Thanks so much. Thank you. I do have fullbacks, and I don't do any shooting lately. Unfortunately, still at home. But there's time for doing another projects. The project which I postpone to do the lives with you guys. Any other stuff which is you postpone for so long. There's a time to do it. I hope today I will be less than an hour, not like the last time. I hope I'll go through all of these things together quickly than before. So today topic is 7 things to try in your next drone video, drone films, to make it better, or 7 tips, whatever you call them. That's going to be my tips, but that's going to be my, from my experience, what I learned, and I want to share it with you to make your drone films better. When we're talking about the drone films and those things in particular, I'm talking about more like a bigger production, bigger value production. It's not 50 seconds shoot in my backyard for the Facebook on Instagram or something like that. It's more for a bigger production, for something that is a little bit more in terms of production, post-production. So obviously those things are applied for any kind of videos, but for films, for drone films, for drone videos, which is longer, like 2 or 3 minutes, 4 and more, they are more valuable. So those tips which I will talk about today will be more applicable for that kind of bigger production. They're a little bit bigger in value, so to say. Okay, so I hope everybody's seen. So 7 things to try in your drone video to make it better, drone films to make it better. So let's start. Let me just open the first one. I don't know, guys, but it's the Instagram is I have many questions to Instagram designers and UX designers, because everything is like, I prepared my presentation, but I could not test it before that. And now everything is scrambled. It's number 1 is going enough after number 7. I don't know what's going on. So many questions to Instagram designers. Okay, so let's start. First thing, start with your best shot, engage viewers. So what do I mean by that? Obviously, in social media world, with everything is like gazillions of content creators creating millions of videos, drone and not drone, and pouring out all of this into the social medias all over the internet and stuff like that. The actual lifespan of the engagement of a viewer is shortened, very 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 short in terms of how the viewer pursue your videos, and how it stays on your video, and instead of flipping to another one. Even in Vimeo and YouTube world, it's actually catching up anyway. So for the first, it goes from, I don't know, a minute, then 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second. So you have to engage viewer. You have to actually make your first shot so unbelievable cool, so unbelievable good, or put the best of your shot in front of the viewer, so at least they, okay, yeah, I have to look at that, I have to see what's going on with the rest of this film. Otherwise it's losing interest very fast. Again, in social media era and younger audience, losing the focus very fast. So you have to engage with them, you have to put your best on. I saw so many videos and so many films where actually the creators just just put the best shot at the end, like to surprise people or something like that. I always follow the rules that I put my best shot or one of the best shot in front of viewers at the start of the film or start of the video, and then slowly goes to good shot, okay shot, then again the best or one of the best shot, then again good, okay, and the for the crescendo, for the last one, again best. So something like that. So it's like a wave. I always say that you have to put all of the best shots what you have. Only the best shots what you have in for your film or for your video, but take from that the best one and put that in front, so viewer will engage more and see, oh yeah, I want to see more. So put your best. Start with your best shot or best shots and engage viewers. That's number one. Number two, I don't know if you can see, but I will read. Stop using LUTs, start doing grading manually. What do I mean by that? Do I stop using LUTs? So strong, powerful message, but do I really hate LUTs or something like that? No. What I meant by that, LUTs is a great way. It's a great way to start the video, to start the production, not start video, start doing your films, start doing your videos, in terms that you will learn how to correct, see how it behaves. And it's like a preset in Lightroom. When you're starting to do your photos, you start with the presets and you say, oh, it's look good, it's okay. Then you slowly become wanting something more. You learn how to do color grading, you learn how to do the color correction, grading and stuff like that, thinking about the colors. And so LUTs is okay to start with, or like using as a finish LUT, but they are more like a preset. And the problem with the LUTs is that they designed specifically for a particular camera, for a particular lens, for a particular situation, for particular light situation, and even where they're shooting landscape, where they're testing these LUTs on a specific video for specific cameras. So not waiting, do not expect that you put LUT from Sony cameras to Mavic 2 and it's going to be exactly and as great as it's advertised, as great as you see on a preset promo video and stuff like that. The problem with the LUTs, it's have a specific meaning specifically designed for specific cameras and lenses. Yes, some companies do a more research and do a proper job. They testing throughout all of the types of lenses or types of cameras, but still they are not a solution for everything. They're more like a preset. You will not get 100% the same quality and the same quality of the picture, or the same as promised on that particular preset marketing materials. You will see the difference for sure. So in that case, stop using the LUTs. Yes, you at the beginning, when you are beginner, that's okay, but when you are starting to develop your film, starting to do more and more films, just start to do grading manually, color correction and grading manually. Learn that online, learn that in masterclass, learn any kind of software you are familiar with, Premiere, Final Cut, DaVinci, but start doing it manually, because you have much more flexibility, you have much more control over your colors, and you actually, at the end of that, you develop your own style that people will recognize you for particular. And also you will be doing some different color grading for different purposes and different films, of course like that. So start doing your color grading manually and you will be amazed how great is that, and how it's much more powerful than just a plugin or LUT in that case. So number 3, let me just find the number 3. Yep, I think it's this one. Yeah, go beyond typical soundtrack. So what do I mean by that? We all see this. We all know that many of us have a tendency to, to go for a kind of trendy soundtrack, which is all over YouTubers, travel bloggers doing this is happy clapping songs or whatever they call it. I don't even know the genre of that music, but you instantly recognize this. This very, very recognizable style of soundtracks you're using. So my idea is to go something beyond that. I know that a copyright, a pricing, obviously, using this for many different types of social media and platforms like YouTube, Vimeo, or something like that. It is a problem. Yes, I know everybody's, wants to cheat and go for, like typing in a Google search, okay, what is the copyright free soundtrack, and they slap in that on the video and say I can't do anything else because I have to use this because of YouTube is very particular about all the songs and stuff like that. But you have much more than that. You have to think about how to be different to all other creatives. Don't follow the trends in soundtracks and music as well. Thinking about something different, something unexpected, something, I don't know, moody, or SFX, for example, no music at all. I know we're not always, we're not SFX, sound designers. We cannot afford to use a composer, which would be absolutely great for big production and stuff like that. But for us, for creators who can't afford to do, to have a composer and compose music for us, we can do so much more. We can go for stock music sites. For example, I use MusicBed. There is a Pond5, for example, or Pandemic Music or Epidemic Music, whatever they call it. There is a many stock music site, but there is a different types of music there. There's like moody stuff. There is like unusual. There's vocals, not like songs which many people put in, but more like ethereal. I don't know. Do something unexpected. Do something different. Go beyond typical soundtrack, which typical music or typical songs that everybody's using through other bloggers and YouTubers. Go. Create something which not create obviously, but use something that people will not expect to see with this video in good terms of that, something that will people say, oh my god, I didn't even think, but it's so cool for that particular style. If you using, for example, fast moving shots, you can use slow music and vice versa, but do something completely different that people will be surprised to see that in a good way, of course, in a good way. So number 3, go beyond typical soundtrack. Okay, number 4. Try different aspect ratio beyond 16:9. Okay, so we all shoot 16:9, 4K, blah blah blah. We all know that it's a great 16:9 it's a great aspect ratio. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but there's so many 16:9 everywhere, and people is afraid to go beyond that. But as we can see, since we want to be as close as possible to a film, to a cinema look, to a cinematic look, that's those words. We want to be as close as possible to that. So see many films producing not 16:9 obviously, but something different, some different aspect ratio. Let me show you some example of aspect ratios, which, if I can find this. Oh yeah, okay. So I don't know if you can see that on the top right corner here, is a different aspect ratio. There's a problem with that, and there's a cons and pros with that. For example, if you're doing some crazy aspect ratio, like I don't know, 277 by 1, this is so square, this is claustrophobic, but I think it's very nice for a particular styles of films like long landscapes and stuff like that. My favorite is 239 by 1, which is anamorphic, and it's a fakery anamorphic, I know, but it's more make my movies, kind of in a vicinity to the cinema, vicinity of films, and vicinity closer to a cinematic experience. Even if you're faking this anamorphic, which is not true anamorphic, but you're like a kind of faking it, but still you can use and experiment with a different type of aspect ratios, so your film will be different to everybody's else. And again, this is what I just put this as a proposal, as a type of aspect ratio which you can try. It's 185 by 1, 2.2 by 1, 235 by 1, 239 by 1, 275, 277. I mean, you can do whenever you want. You can even create your own aspect ratio, which is not relevant to the films, because that particular aspect ratio is relevant to an actual film, an actual celluloid, an actual cameras and lenses and stuff like that. But you can create your own, and you can make a new trend of creating go square, or I don't know, do something than 16 by 9, because 16 by 9, yes, it's great, it shows everywhere, it shows all the pictures, it shows the everything, but there is much more to experiment with. You see there's so many filmmakers, indie filmmakers, and Hollywood filmmakers, big filmmakers as well. They all doing something with the aspect ratio. As I said, there is a cons and pros with the aspect ratio. First, you're reducing the size of your picture physically, and therefore you have to think about when you are actually when you're shooting, you have to think about this aspect ratio, so you will be cropping from top and bottom. But also there is a constant that, again, will be your video will be different to everybody else 16 by 9. Your video will be more like cinema, more film looks, have a more film look, even if it's not real aspect ratio for the real cameras. There is another thing that you actually have a flexibility to move your actual footage, which is 16 by 9, top and bottom, so you can recompose this, a little bit on top, you can move it top, bottom, and have a better composition. So this is a kind of plus, kind of a good thing for experimenting with the new with a different aspect ratio. So go beyond the 16 by 9, try something else, try something different. So be different, be creative, and use different aspect ratio. And if you want to, so if you want to learn how to do a proper, not slapping the black bars on top and the bottom like everybody else doing. So if you want to know how to do it correctly, just go to my YouTube channel and see there is a full video of the last live video from Instagram, where I show how to correctly do an aspect ratio instead of slapping black bars on top and bottom and call it a day. So, but again, try something different, try different aspect ratio, beyond the 16 by 9. So number 5, let me just pause for a second. So number 5, is it number 5? Yeah, number 5. Check out font trends for the better title. We know that in the bigger production, in the videos and drone videos, short drone videos and short drone films, the titles is playing a huge role. You have titles, you have intro of your company, for example, blah 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 presents. You have also credits at the back and stuff like that. So instead of saying, okay, I'm not a designer, I'm not a a graphic designer, I'm not creative in that particular field, and I was just using any fonts I have, like Helvetica or Georgia or Impact, and it's okay. You can do much more. You can just Google out a trends for the fonts, font trends 2019, 2020, 2018, whenever you want, and the industry creatives, industry expert already put a gazillions of article and post how about the new trends of the fonts, commercial or free, font pairing. Font pairing is when which font goes nicely with another font and stuff like that. So you can follow the trends, see the font, see the one you like, and know that this combination, this fonts is actually a trendy or at least the one which is much more much better. I wouldn't say much more, but much better than just the slapping typical fonts which everybody's using and stuff like that. Google Fonts actually have a nice collection of that, and there's just Google font trends for 2019, and you will see a lot of articles where it's a nice with the links to a nice free font or a commercial or semi-free or whatever they call this. I can't remember the license name when you can use that for particular private videos or not commercial work and stuff like that. So there's a lot of fonts which you can use to be different from everybody else who's just slapping the fonts. Also, there is a good idea to check out the posters for industry. I know they are a little bit traditional in terms of using fonts. They stick for certain types of fonts and certain types of genres, using certain types of fonts. They're usually tall and bulky and stuff like that. But you can check indie films or European style films. They're using more different fonts than traditional Hollywood style. But you can it's a great idea to check out the trends for posters and what the industry is using, and check the fonts what they're using. Sometimes they came with absolutely fantastic fonts, so you can use that in your work, and to be different from everybody else who's just slapping the font and making some ugly shadows behind the font and call it a day. So check out the font trends for better titles, for better credits, for better presentation, and just Google this, and you can find a lot of great font examples and font pairs. So number 6, let me find number 6. Yeah, creating poster for your film. That's actually, it's a little bit relevant to coming from number 5. So using great fonts and using a great poster for a film. I could not stress enough how important is the poster for your film. Poster, thumbnails, cover, whenever you call them. I call them poster. It's a little image with your name, not name, but name of the film in front of the on the social media, on YouTube or Vimeo, on your site, whenever you're using that. But it's so much important. It's like a face for your film. I mean, you probably I don't have to stress enough to make. I mean, I don't have to be stressing enough, but I could not stress enough how important is that, because this font, this titles. These posters are super important. They're engaging the viewers to see, and they're engaging the viewers to click and see the whole film. And because of that, I, for example, following the rule that all of my posters are made from a screenshot of the, I use the screenshots of the actual, shots in the film, or at least a picture which I took on the same location, same day, and before shooting the film, or before shooting the shots, or after the shooting the shot. So I'm not including anything which is not in the film, because I think it's like a little bit of cheating, or something like saying that, oh, I put something, imagine I put this, if you see on my screen, imagine I put the Serenity, this yellow and blue in the Moscow, and everybody's expecting, oh, I want to see this sky, and cool shots, where is that? And you see all the film of Moscow, or see the whole film of Icarus, or Islandi, whenever, and there's nothing there. It's like people will, getting angry, say, oh my God, he's cheating. He's just put a nice picture in there, but there's not nor actual shot or actual place in that. So I think, I use always I use the frame from my video in my poster. And of course I do color correction on that, maybe sometimes beyond what I done in the film, obviously some fonts, which is, if you remember number 5, it's very important to put a nice trendy fonts and use that, and or see how industry is doing the post, but it's very, very important. I also recommend to do vertical and horizontal as well. Horizontal goes for example, your site, YouTube Vimeo, or any other video or horizontal video sharing platform. But for example, for social media, or for let's say film festival or competition, sometimes they require vertical, or it's better to have a vertical. So I advise you to do vertical as well as horizontal. And I usually start with horizontal because it's my main poster, and then I go to a vertical and do some recompositioning and do a vertical poster. You can put some name of your company's logos, or whenever previous films you've done, like from creator, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. So you can see, you can follow the guidelines of the poster, which Hollywood's production doing and stuff like that. There's some unbelievable posters they are producing. And if you can see, again, if you remember, I talked about that I usually use frames from my videos in that poster. They also do the same, for example, to put the different posters even from the same location, but never from this actual film shot into your poster, will be more like cheating. Like, imagine some actors, some studio will put an actor in a film which is not acting in this film. So it's like, it's no. So I usually recommend to go with the poster and do some other stuff. You can see all of my posters here. They have, you go to these films and you will see exactly this location. Even with the Moscow, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 location, and they're all inside this film, so there's no cheating, and you can see this location in the film, those shots in the film. So it's number 6. Create your poster for your film. Very, very important, and it's like a face to your film. Engaging people to see this film, to your film, your video. Number 7. That was number 6. This is number 7. Deliver in lower than 4K. So what do I mean by that? I'm not against 4K. Again, I'm okay with that. There's not many of us have a 4K something to see, like a screen or a projector or TV, but there's more and more people getting their 4Ks, I don't know, 5Ks or whatever Ks, television sets and monitors and stuff like that. So I'm not against 4K, but I don't think that 4K, I think 4K now is a little bit overused. Not overused, but in terms of that, it's not as much as relevant as the content. So I usually deliver in 3K, which is it's made up K. There's no 3K really. It's my deliverable for the last four or five films, four I think. My deliverables are some sort of 3K, which is together with the anamorphic aspect ratio 2.39 by 1 makes my actual films 3440 pixel by 1440 pixel. That's going to be, you know, very long anamorphic aspect ratio, and I call this 3K. It's actually no 3K in the real world like that. So, but again, you can make it. You can deliver 3K, 2K, 2.7, 1080p, pretty well if you wish. But why not delivering in 4K? Because for once again, there is not many people can, you know, see your 4K beautiful creation. And another thing that is for not delivering in 4K, you have more control and more flexibility to recomposition, to make a better composition with your videos. So what I'm talking about is that, for example, we're all shooting 4K, and therefore if you deliver in, let's say in my 3K, I have about 10%, you know, top, bottom, left and right, to have better composition with my shots. I can put them 100% and be a little bit closer. I'll put them 90%, a little bit more wider. I can even zoom in, zoom out, make an animation, and therefore when I deliver in 3K or 2K, I have even more. When I deliver in 1080p, like for example the last fun video I made for YouTube with the Moscow, you know, mimicking the Pan Am with the Pan Am soundtrack, I use 1080p. And because I shoot 4K, it looks like I'm flying just in front of a building, which is actually not. And therefore, because I can zoom in so much, I can not zoom in, I can put that 100%, looks like zoom in. So that's why it's important. Sometimes it's, you know, it's good to have delivered in less than 4K, therefore have more room, more flexibility to work with your composition, to work with your you know, recompositing your images, recompositing your shot for a better, you know, for a better outcome, for a better product, for a better film. So deliver again, but if you wish, you can deliver in 4K. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, but I'm just you know, one of the tip. Try to do that. Try to see if it's work for you. If it's not work for you, to do resolution a little bit than 3K. Oh, sorry, than 4K. 3K, 2.7, 2K, or any other resolution you want to come up with, but not 4K. So that's number 7. It's almost finished. Of course, I want to give you a bonus, number 8, which is actually think of some cool name for your movie or for your video. What I meant by that, I mean, don't you think like when you're looking at everybody's work and everybody's, you know, saying, oh, my best vacation 2019 cinematic 4K, I think it's like overused, you know, cliches, types of, you know, YouTuber type of names, which is, you know, looks like more like a clickbait for me. So it's not like not giving you a real value for production, real movie. If you put that into your, you know, into a film, into your, you know, you put so much into a film and then call it, oh, my vacation in Iceland 2019 in cinematic 4K, I don't think it's, you know, it's degrading your work. If you put something like, I don't know, I like one, sure, you know, you probably see it already, but I like one, you know, names, single name, single movie, single name, you know, like Serenity or Icarus, or something like Vindur or something like that. It doesn't mean you have to do that, but I think it's much more cool if you call it, I don't know, Winds of Iceland or something like that instead of my vacation in Iceland 2019 cinematic 4K or some, you know, something like blogger stuff. Obviously, of course, it all depends on what's your audience and where you want to, you know, which people you want to attract and which people you want to, you know, make impression of, to which people you want to make an impression of. But, you know, speaking genuinely, speaking because I'm always speaking about high quality production, film like production, short drone film like production, of course, and short drone videos. I'm talking about something like expecting some, our sophistication in that. So, putting, shorter names, one to single phrase, single words, or one or two or three words, make more impact, make more, professional. You see the, movies almost, not almost, but most of the movies, it's a single word or two words. It's not like, okay, this is a guy who's, playing, violin and going around London discovering some, doing some, I don't know, like, detective work. It's not like that. It's Sherlock Holmes or something. I mean, I talked about that in a previous one, but it's still, think about a cool name for your movie. Just, Google some, cool names for. I usually do, I usually try to see what's the name, native name for a places where I shot. Like, for example, Icelandia is a old name for all the. I think it's it's not a Greek, but Latin name for Iceland is Icelandia. So it's sort of thinking about that, something cool and unique for your actual film that bring you more to more higher class classic production. So that's what I think. And again, let me go back very quickly for about these 7 things. Just recap, just a small recap. I will not going through all of the posters, all of the presentation because it's too much, but just a small recap. Number 1, start with your best shot, engage viewers, pretty obvious, start with the best shot so people will see your the best and want to see the rest of the movie or film. Stop using LUTs and start doing manual grading. So again, LUTs is good for starters, for beginning in the color grading, but when you want to produce your own style, do something different and have more control, use manual grading whenever application you are using. Go beyond typical soundtrack. Stop using everything that everybody is doing and is copyright and is good for YouTube or Vimeo, because there is so many stock music sites which can produce again for subscription. They can give you a much nicer soundtrack. Also, my tip is listen to as many soundtrack as possible, because they are out of this world. Some of them are out of this world, and you will see how it's correlated to a picture, and you will see that the songs which you are choosing is not as powerful as it might be if you choose something completely drastic, different, eerie or something moody or stuff like that. Try different aspect ratio. Number 4, try different aspect ratio beyond 16:9. Try experiment with one, and it's very powerful tool also, to be a more closer, more claustrophobic into the picture, go wider, go anamorphic if you wish, try different aspect ratio. Check out font trends for better titles. Just instead of using, the usual suspect, the usual types which comes with every operation system, go beyond that. And if you don't know anything about that, just check online, just type font trends, and you will see a lot of nice and fantastic trends, fantastic fonts, free or commercial. Create poster for your film. Again, I cannot stress enough how important is the poster or thumbnails for your film. Just use see what the industry doing. Check out how to create posters. There's so many tutorials. Use this cool font which you found from number 5 and create one from your don't mislead viewers, and use shots from the same location or from the movie itself, from video itself. Deliver in lower than 4K. try to do a different, resolution, different, 3K, 4K, 3K, 2K, 2.7 or 1080p, just to experiment with the different resolution, different than 4K, and you will see that you have more flexibility to recompose your picture if you wish to. And the last one is a bonus. Think about cool name for your film instead of doing that everybody's doing. My awesome location and cinematic 4K. Go beyond that and do something more classy, more stylish, and more kind of film type of the name. So that's my 7 things to try for the next drone. In the next drone videos, in the next drone film, to make it better. I hope you like it. I hope you find it useful. I hope you can use those tips to bring your production, bring your videos, bring your films into even bigger, to the next level. And thank you so much for being with me throughout this live. I just want to say, before we go, I want to show you, because I have a masterclass which is teaching more beyond this, tips and what I'm talking here. It's showing from, it's teaching from settings, teaching from post-production, very heavy on post-production, doing, VFX, SFX, relevant to everything which is relevant to producing a drone films and drone videos, short drone films and short drone videos. And I want to show you just a short 1-minute promo, which probably you already saw. And after that promo, I will tell you which next live Instagram live I will be talking about, which will be the actual scenario for the next film, for the next live. Thank you. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the YouTube. With Instagram, the sounds is so unsync. I don't know. I have millions of questions to our Instagram designers. I think it's, oh my god, this is like worst thing ever. Audio out of sync. Video, so many questions. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I didn't know that it's going to be played like that. But basically, yeah, that's just a promo. You can see it, on my channel, on my IGTV. It's a short promo for my Instagram. For my masterclass, which is related to specifically drone films and drone videos. All of this is 2 or 3 days. And you can, if you can learn more about that, if you go to my profile, just click on my profile in Instagram, and there is a link to this masterclass. So, as I promised, next live, which will be next week, and I will be posting this when it's going to be on Monday. I will be talking about. I think it will be a shorter live. I will be talking about the creatives, the channels, the companies which I like, which I looking for, where I'm looking for where I am going for, when I want to see tutorials, when I want to see of amazing production, where I want to see some absolutely fantastic, quality content. I will be talking about an inspirations of mine, and I will be talking about those companies, creatives, or individuals who I admire, who I'm following, and who I am also suggesting you to check out. Again, it will be more about videos of filmmaking, I don't know, time lapses and stuff like that, nothing related to a picture. But those guys I like, those guys I follow, I see, and I also want you to see those guys as well, and check them out, and maybe you can inspire by their works, their tutorials, their content as well. So next week, on Monday, I will tell you when there will be this live for that particular theme, for that particular inspirational creatives of mine. I think it's going to be like maybe Friday or Sunday as well, like today. And anyway, thank you so much. Let me just switch. Yeah, thank you so much again, guys, to be that you are always present on my life. I hope you have you can implement those 7 tips, 7 things, and I hope to see you again next week. I hope everybody's okay. Thank you. Bye.